The last train home. A steady downpour, faint echoes of a train station announcer, last train to Jaipur departing in 10 minutes. Rainy nights have a way of stirring things up. Maybe it's the cold, or the way the world feels like it's slowing down, pressing you to think about things you'd rather not. That's how it was for Arun, a man in his mid-30s, dressed in a soaked blazer, sitting on a cold bench in platform 4 of an almost deserted train station. The squelch of wet shoes and the creak of a bench as Arun shifts uncomfortably. Arun wasn't waiting for the train. Not really. He was waiting for something else, clarity, courage, anything to fill the pit in his chest. In his hand, a crumpled letter that he'd written but hadn't sent. A single name scribbled on the envelope, Priya. The rhythmic tapping of a walking stick approaches, stops, then a gruff but warm voice breaks the silence. Mr. Mehra, cheerfully. Well, look at you, all broody and wet. What's the occasion? Have you forgotten your umbrella or your sense of humor? Startled, Arun glanced up. An elderly man with a thick moustache, twinkling eyes, and a rather garish yellow raincoat stood before him. The man wasn't just smiling, he was grinning, like he'd cracked the world's funniest joke and was waiting for Arun to catch up. Arun, slightly annoyed. I didn't invite company. Mr. Mehra, ignoring Arun's tone. Good thing I came uninvited, then. A third as Mr. Mehra plops down beside Arun and noisily unwraps a packet of samosas. The man's confidence was as loud as his raincoat. Arun sighed and turned back to the letter, hoping his silence would scare the old man off. It didn't. Mr. Mehra. A letter. Let me guess, a breakup, an apology, or... Oh, wait. Are you confessing your love to someone? Those are the trickiest. Arun, sighing. None of your business. Mr. Mehra. Oh, it's absolutely my business. I'm a people watcher, you see. And right now, my people radar is telling me that you, my soggy friend, are in the middle of a life crisis. Arun blinked. Who was this guy? And why was he so determined to poke his nose into someone else's misery? Mr. Mehra munches noisily on his samosas. Mr. Mehra. You know, I once wrote a love letter to my wife. Took me 3 months to find the right words. Gave it to her on a Friday. By Saturday, she was using it as a bookmark for her cookbooks. Arun, despite himself, smirking. That's rough. Mr. Mehra. But here's the thing. She still kept it. Turns out, sometimes it's not the words that matter, but the fact that you tried. Arun's smirk faded as the old man's words hit closer to home than he expected. He glanced down at the letter again, its ink smudged from the rain. Arun, quietly. It's not just about trying. What if I'm too late? What if she doesn't care anymore? Mr. Mehra. Too late. My boy, the train hasn't even left the station. And anyway, worrying about what ifs is like arguing with your shadow, pointless and exhausting. Mr. Mehra pats Arun on the shoulder, his tone shifting to something softer. Mr. Mehra. Let me guess. You hurt her, didn't you? Arun froze. The truth was too loud to deny. He nodded, his voice barely a whisper. Arun. I didn't realize how much she meant to me until she left. I kept choosing work over her, over us. And now, I don't even know if she'd want to hear from me. The distant whistle of a train grows louder, a reminder of time slipping away. Mr. Mehra, chuckling. Work over love, huh? Classic rookie mistake. My wife once threw a shoe at me because I worked late on her birthday. Lucky for me, she has terrible aim. Arun, smiling slightly. And what did you do? Mr. Mehra. I ducked. Then I spent the next week groveling. Made her breakfast every morning. Told her she was right because she always is, you know. Women have this terrifying talent for being right. Mr. Mehra laughs, and Arun joins him. For the first time that night, Arun felt lighter. The old man's humor was contagious, his stories ridiculous but oddly wise. Mr. Mehra. You know you're lucky. You have a chance to fix things. You don't want to end up like me, sitting at a station like this, thinking about all the things you didn't do. Arun. But what if she doesn't forgive me? What if she's moved on? Mr. Mehra. And what if she hasn't? Look, kid, life doesn't come with guarantees. But you've got to take the leap anyway. It's the only way you'll ever know. The train rolled into the station, its brakes hissing. Arun looked down at the letter, his heart pounding. His feet felt glued to the floor. Mr. Mehra, in a teasing way. Well, are you going to sit here like a soggy dumpling, or are you going to get on that train and fight for what matters? The clatter of train wheels as Arun boards, his steps hesitant but determined. Arun turned back to thank the old man, but the bench was empty. Mr. Mehra was gone, as if he'd never been there at all. As the train pulled away, Arun stared out at the rain-streaked windows, clutching the letter. For the first time in months, he felt something shift within him. Hope, fear, determination. A strange and wonderful mix that reminded him he was still alive. A warm, uplifting melody swells as the train sound fades. Sometimes, life gives us second chances in the most unexpected ways. And on a rainy night in a quiet station, a stranger's wisdom reminded a lost traveler that it's never too late to find your way home.